Yeah. Are we live?
Yeah.
Dude,
What do you mean?
okay.
Kenneth, what do you think this is?
Welcome back to another episode of the Two Joes and the Pros, you guys. Kenny, Ryan, and Brian. Sorry, bro. I was just looking, man. I was asking if we was live, bro. It was like we did it out of the norm than we normally do. Anyway, um, my guys, happy to see you, Brian. I'm glad that the Chippendales that you off, so that's always good. What happened? Am I choppy?
Yeah, you choppy.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, man.
You're good. You're good.
You guys are freezing.
We're glad to be here.
I'm choppy. I don't understand that.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't know what's to
Let's
tell
just
you.
hope
choppy.
it works.
I mean,
A little.
we're here.
Man, this is pissing me off because I'm never choppy. So we're here. Oh, you guys are here. I'm not really here. My shit is just off. I don't know.
We
What's
take
going
1
on.
week off.
Anyway,
and
let me
Kenny's shit
just
be
take my
broke.
piece before they shun me, kick me off here. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, man. Probably because I was taking tests and stuff this weekend, so it just fried my damn computer or some shit. I don't know. Am I still choppy?
No, you're good. I hear. Well,
No,
I hear you.
you're
Now.
Dog, this is about to piss me off.
This is
Your
great.
video is-
I
I'm
love
about to
what
make me
we're
mad.
seeing.
Yeah, this is what we
Nah,
get for
bro.
taking a week off.
I
man.
don't like
it's my
this.
fault.
Yeah.
I take ownership.
I don't like that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That's what you should
you're
do.
good. You're good.
Oh,
Watch this.
yeah.
Nah, I'm not good, bro. If I'm not good, I don't like it. I'm telling you.
Who's our one viewer?
Look,
Get in the
I'm
chat. Who's the?
tell
No,
me,
you're good. I hear it now. You're good.
why is Kenny wrong? Is he choppy or not?
Oh,
Oh, hang on. There's no snare in my headphones.
You see that?
What's that?
Man, you're trying to fuck with me. Just let me
Hold on, you
in
wanna
on the
say-
other joint, bro. I'm just gonna join on my phone. Yes. Look at that. Can you see double me?
boom.
Is it better?
How about yeah,
Wow,
that's
it's
better.
so much better.
Is
I
it
mean,
better?
you sound bad,
But-
but that's just because the mic is.
You don't have the mic.
I-
Do we like Kenny better? Here, let's make that better. Is that better?
Is that better?
Yeah. It sounds
All right.
better, but the mic's useless because you're going off your phone.
All right, hold on. You guys take over. Let me
Yeah,
do this
Brian,
real
what do we?
What are we doing?
quick. Be useful, Brian.
All right,
Be fucking
hey,
useful.
Hey,
This is ad hoc. This is on
man,
the
I'm
fly.
not ready. I
Look,
thought
we
I had
lost
like
our
5
viewer.
minutes.
We lost our viewer. We had one viewer, and they're gone. They're like, "Fuck this! I'm out of here."
Okay.
They are out.
Can y'all hear me though? Is the mic messed up or can y'all hear me better?
No, we
I
can hear you.
All right,
I
cool.
can-
Then let's do it.
Everything's good like that.
All right, cool. Then I'm taking off the headphones. All right. Anyway, so let me just take this laptop. Who cares about the light? The light doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter. I'm good how I am.
I mean, you look great.
All right. Anyway, this is coming live from the cellular device. We're gonna touch on sports. I would say I would go over stuff, but I don't have anything because I can't remember it because I use my cellular device to give me the sports updates. So we're gonna go a little bit out of the norm, and we're gonna let Brian go first, and then I'll touch on my piece. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was gonna help you out.
Yeah, I'm about to put my stuff back on right now. So just go ahead and do your piece, and then I'm
All right, man. Let's get straight into it. MLB's done. I think the last episode of the World Series was happening. So, anyways, the Rangers won. What did they win? 4-2, or was it 4-1? I can't
I
remember.
think it was 4-1. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks only won one.
Yeah, but so anyways, their first World Series ever. Congrats to them. They definitely got hot and they stayed hot, so that's good. Yeah, that's all I got. I mean,
What about hockey?
hockey. Real quick, let's get into it. The best teams in the league right now. I hate saying it because it always jinx it, but it's the Bruins and the Vegas Knights. They're the best teams in the league. The Bruins are the best team in the East right now.
Is that Brian talking, or is that the actual statistics?
That's just the standings. Okay, they're playing way better than I thought they would. And so it's probably going to turn into one of those years where they do really well and then they suck in the playoffs. Because that's just the Bruins' way. And I'm never going to get off of that until they prove me wrong.
Okay.
But Vegas Knights, man, they came out on fire. I think they won their first 9 games. They've only lost one or two games. One was in overtime. So they're really good right now. Vancouver has been pretty hot. I'm surprised by them a little bit. But they've been scoring a lot of goals. Another team that I've been really impressed with has been the Rangers, honestly.
Yeah.
They look like a contender this year. They got 2 good goalies. When you got Brian Quick as your backup goalie, it's pretty impressive. I know he's a little bit later on in his years, but they should make some noise in the East. They might be the best team in the East. We'll see. Tampa's still lurking around, but I think they're getting a little bit older now, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep up.
Nah, they can't. The guys, look, realistically, the guys are too across the whole NHL. They're getting so young, and those young cats, they're coming up, and these teams that normally hang at the bottom, they're going to compete a little bit. So I think it's going to mix some things up for the NHL for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the speed is taking over.
Yeah, 100%.
Way more than even 5 years ago. It's just insane.
All I hear around some of the people I talk to is Connor Bedard. Even though the Blackhawks suck.
They do, but that's because that's all he's their only piece. That's not his fault.
Yeah.
But he is really good.
Because I think about them. I think about the Jets. I'm talking about Winnipeg. So I think about them. Who else? Other teams young. The Panthers actually been doing decently. The Kings have been scoring a lot of goals. Of course, the Avalanche have been scoring.
One team that I've been surprised that has sucked is Edmonton.
Yes.
I don't know what happened to them, but they have started off slow. They've only got 2 wins. Not a good look for them. They should be a playoff team, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Edmonton. I think maybe they just haven't found their stride yet or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. They definitely aren't scoring much. Their differential right now is -18. Usually they have a plus differential, even if their record isn't that good.
Yeah.
And then the Anaheim Ducks. They've been decent. They've been surprising some teams. I don't think that they're going to have the staying power to stick around all year. So that might be one of those teams that's in the playoffs right now, but they'll probably be one of the ones that, is on the outside looking in later in the year. Yeah. There's not much to say. We're early in the year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So now that I finally I'm back to my regular self, right? We'll touch on college football real quick. So last week was an eventful week for the most part. I think we're 2 weeks out, but I'm just going to touch on the last week games. So of course, Alabama LSU was the big game from last week. For a second there, it looked like Alabama was going to give it up and fold. But Jalen Milroe, he looked like the old Jalen Hurts, where Jalen Hurts, when he was with Bama, he just ran all over the place. That's what the game was. So Alabama ended up winning that game by 14. Ohio State played against a Rutgers team that at first people were like, "Uh-oh, what's going on in the first half?" And then Ohio State pulled away in the second half.
They've been doing that all year, though. They've been first half they're like shit, and then they just come out and it's a different game.
Yeah, for sure. So they end up winning that game. Another team that I think has probably surprised the shit out of me is Missouri. When I was watching the game when they played against Kansas State, I was like, man, they're not really that good. They're kind of sporadic all over the place. But they played Georgia super tight. They lost 21-30 to Georgia. Granted, Georgia doesn't have Bowers there, but they figure out a way to win. And defensively, they play really well. But Missouri is a team that definitely surprised me there in the East. Michigan has a whole bunch of shit going on. Oh, use the curse. Michigan has a whole bunch of shit going on with the whole scandal and things like that. It's a lot of Michigan fans I talk to that try to say, "Oh no, nothing's going on. It's not this. It's not a scandal. It's not that." And I'm like, listen, at this point in time, if you're firing a guy and multiple people coming up and saying that he had to pay the money and all this stuff, it's bad. So I'm curious to see what happens. They're talking about suspension, things like that. I think it's ridiculous if they, keep Michigan out of the college football playoffs, because realistically, in my opinion, like we said last week, you still have to stop the team. And if you're not stopping the team, I don't feel like you should warn and grant somebody else in there just because you feel like Michigan was bending the rules a little bit or whatever the case would be. People won't say cheating, but whatever. I think everybody's trying to look for an advantage in college football. And, I wouldn't feel right if they got pushed out and Alabama got pushed in and then we won a national championship because, you know what I mean, or whoever came in and won a national championship, because that's like an asterisk by it because you only did it because of Michigan. I don't like that. So I think they should just, ban them, maybe take some scholarships away, something like that. But, if they make it to the college football playoffs, to keep them in there. Florida State did what they're supposed to do. I would say the game of the week, in my opinion, just if you talk about offensive firepower, was definitely the Washington USC game. A friend of mine was talking about, oh man, I'm going to take the under for that game. I said, you're crazy, out your mind. I said, it's 72 points. Take the over. I said, the only person that stops USC is Caleb Williams himself, and USC's defense is terrible, and Washington is putting up 50 points a game. And sure enough, the score was 35-28 at halftime. And when I was looking at the over on DraftKings, they had the over at 118 points. And I was like, they can't be for real right now. And I've never seen an over. That's like a college basketball score. I've never seen an over that high for a game. But the game ended up 52-42. I think the Washington running back, he had like 26 carries for 256 and 4 TDs. So it was USC is just terrible on defense. It makes no sense why they have all this firepower, but they can't win any games. So they're terrible there. Oregon had a close game at first with California, with Cal, sorry. It was like, I was looking at it, was like 13-14, and I was like, damn, don't tell me Oregon is going to lose. But then the game ended up being 63-19. So that was a completely slugfest at the end. Oklahoma State defeated Oklahoma, which we thought Oklahoma was overrated already. That showed itself. And because Dylan Gabriel really has struggled since the Texas game, in my opinion. Texas barely squeaked by Kansas State, which is normally a close game there. What else? Big game. Clemson defeated Notre Dame, which if you looked anywhere from the point spread, they had Clemson -3 favorite. So that should have told you already that something was going to go on. Oregon State beat Colorado, but what's new there? Colorado, everybody is slandering Deion Sanders, and everybody's saying Shedeur is not going to make it a whole year because of all the sacks that they're giving up. And, I don't know if you guys have anything to say on that, but in my opinion, it's like, if you don't have an O-line, it doesn't matter how good your skill players are at the end of the day. And I think that's what is a prime example of what's happening there. College basketball is getting started. Nothing really going on there. Some teams playing. A lot of teams coming out looking like trash. Other teams are trying to do, what they can with a lot of young guys, no names. So we'll see what happens there. No big slugfest have happened yet. I don't think those challenges at the Maui Invitation or anything like that. I think that's this weekend potentially. I have to look that up, but nothing too crazy right now. NBA, it's a little bit of just Mitch and Max guys. Some guys playing, some guys showing up. I'll tell you who is showing up. Boston showing up. They're not showing up tonight, but they're showing up. Overall, they've been playing pretty well. They've been blowing out teams by like 30 points, 40 points, 50 points in some case. I think they're probably the most consistent team inside the NBA besides the Denver Nuggets. But I know Jamal Murray got hurt, so I think that's going to affect the Denver Nuggets to a certain extent. I think he's out for a month or something like that. Yeah. People have been talking about Victor Wembanyama. I think I said it right. Victor Wembanyama, and he's been a baller, man. He's been playing pretty well. He is a freakish athlete, not freakish athlete, freakish player. He just got crazy new attributes to him. Can kind of do everything, but the Spurs suck on defense, bro. They're like terrible right now, which is not really Pop's way. So we'll see what happens from there. But that's kind of what I have. All I have for like those three. Of course, they're doing like the NBA tournament playing. If you guys like that, looking at the different court colors, that's kind of exciting. There, it's kind of like all colorful and things like that. If you guys into like aesthetics, but yeah, that's what I got.
Is that the in-season?
Yeah, the
in-season tournament. So does it count towards your record at all?
Yeah, so it counts towards your record. They have 4 playing games, so it's kind of like an AAU tournament style, right? So you got 4 group play, and then from there the top teams go, and then I think it's 2 additional teams with the best records go in there. And then the MVP gets, I forgot how many $1 million for being MVP, and then the team gets how many $1 million for winning the whole thing. So it's incentives to play well, right? I'm curious on how they do the schedule, because essentially if you make it into the tournament, right, you're playing games that separately that weren't on schedule compared to the guys that weren't. So I wonder if they're going to break it like All-Star break, if they're going to like match teams together at that point and try to kind of like do the schedule on the fly. Because all those games are going to count in besides the tournament championship game. That's the only game that does not count to the record. Everything else counts. So I'm curious how they're going to do that.
I don't know how they're going to do it once they combine the winners of the groups, but during group play, it's Tuesdays and Fridays are the in-season tournament games.
No, I know that part I'm tracking. I'm saying when they get into the tournament style, those teams that's playing, I understand that. But the teams that are not playing, how are you going to mix and match the schedule so that everybody still has, the 82 games, 85 games, whatever, at the end of the season?
They I don't know, honestly. They must have
This is the first year they've done this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious on how they do it, because think about it. If I do the group play, that's 4 games. Good. I understand that. But then it's 3 rounds, right, to get there. So that's 3 games you got to figure out. But every team that loses, that's one less team. That's another 2 or 3 teams that you have to figure out how you're going to match their schedules to make sure they have the same amount of games.
Do they play the other losers like a consolation? Is there?
Not from what I'm tracking. I think it was once it gets to tournament style, it's 1 loss and you're out. So
I think basically what's going to happen is you play every team twice in the league, at least twice.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they scheduled those other games later in the year, and if you have to play one of them in the in-season tournament, then you just scratch that other game that you had scheduled.
See, I feel like that's just super confusing, because you had to do the scheduling for the arenas months out, right? So everybody can book around that. And I feel like if I'm a kid and I'm like, my family buys tickets to go see LeBron in March, but they play in the in-season tournament, and they're like, sorry, that game doesn't count anymore. Then you're like, what the hell? I paid for the tickets. Then what do you do with the tickets? What does the fan get at that point? Because they don't want to replace with
same way you buy tickets to go to a game to see LeBron and he's having a rest day, and you don't get to watch.
But at least you're seeing the Lakers play, right? You're not going to buy the Lakers tickets and then the Charlotte Hornets show up in that.
You get free Taylor Swift tickets.
Those are worth more than Lakers tickets
for sure.
That's proud for sure.
I think the only thing I have to say additional to that is Anthony Davis, you're a bum. And I'm telling you that you're a bum.
It's so much better that you're on the phone saying that.
Because I can zoom in. You're a bum, right? Because it pisses me off at this point in time how in New Orleans you played very well. Everybody said, "Damn, if he could just get on a good team, he can win some championships." You get on a good team, and you are the definition of when coaches say potential that doesn't pan out. You had all the potential in the world. He can be the top player in the world. He never does shit. He just steadily gets hurt. And now he's out again with hip spasms. It's a hip spasm, it's an ankle, it's something. There's always something with you. And I just want to let you know, from one fake Laker fan to, you being a Laker player, you're a fucking bum. You are the worst Laker player to come through that has some potential. You would never get your jersey hung up in the arena because you're trash and you're a disgrace to the team. And you really pissed me off in the sense that you're making LeBron have to do all this at 50 years old and you're not doing shit. And LeBron's literally giving you the ring and giving you everything so you can be effective and you still not doing nothing because you're a shit ball. So thank you.
Jeez Louise.
Did you have anything you needed to say about the Lakers, Kenny? Or
No, that's it. I don't know.
oh, that's it. Okay.
That's
Okay.
This was an Anthony Davis rant. I'm doing the Steve Smith, Jerry Judy approach with Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So.
Are we at football now?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, man. Let's get into football.
So we've missed 2 weeks, but
Yes.
what I will do is we'll just go over the standings real quick, and we can talk about our surprises, non-surprises, and we can remind me if I'm missing any major injuries. First, I'll cover this right now, just so that you guys we'll cover the NFC East first.
Can I say one
We'll
more
start
thing?
with the NFC. Go ahead.
Hey, by the way, Brian, I know you're happy that Cooper Flag committed to Duke. He's gonna be a
I'm
baller. Huh?
I'm not a Duke fan.
But I'm saying, like, he's going to a big time school. He's from fucking Maine.
Well, yeah, okay.
Like,
That
that's
part,
what I'm talking
yes.
about. Damn, you a hater, bro.
I wish he would have gone somewhere else.
You want to go to the Catamounts?
What? Why would I want him to go to Vermont?
I'm just saying, bro. Like, damn, he's going to.
Where would you want him to play?
Man, I don't know. Like, the problem is, like, I want him to go play for some, like, a big time coach. Like, man, go to, like, Auburn, play for, like, Bruce Pearl or something. Like, I don't know.
No, bro.
I
He's going to
don't
go
know.
to a fundamentally sound team that where he can be in
No,
the
he's
system.
not. He's going to a freaking NBA farm.
He's going to get to the NBA.
He's going to be there 1 year, and then he's going to be in the NBA.
Yeah,
Like,
but you rather him go there than go to Kentucky? If he go to Kentucky, it's
Coach
a wrap.
K is not there anymore. That's the thing. Yeah, I would rather him go to Kentucky then. I want him to be coached well. I don't think John Shire is all that. I think that he's just a product of the fact that, Duke can recruit anyone they want.
John Shire is a pretty good coach, bro. But yeah, okay.
What's he done? Nothing.
Bro, this is only his second year. God, league it up his back.
Hey, man. Big shoes to fill. You got to fill them quick,
All right, my bad, Ryan.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right.
One more thing.
NFC East. We have the Eagles in first, 8-1. Cowboys in second, 5-3. Commanders 4-5. Giants 2-7. Giants are done. Daniel Jones comes back from his neck injury. He clanks his knees together. He's out for the season. ACL. Done. Giants are toast.
Can you give me a rant on Daniel Jones?
He will be on the team next year, and then he'll be cut.
So at this point in time, Ryan, can you say, Kenny, you were right?
No, because you flip flop on Daniel Jones too much. Because you were like, he's the real deal. He's trash. Actually, no, he's great. Actually,
No,
maybe he might be good. No, Kenny,
I said
Nope.
for fantasy that was my sleeper pick until guess what? He touched the field. Then I said, never mind. I said that was my sleeper pick because I was like,
you
man,
flip too much. You flip too much.
no. I flipped once, and that's because all these fantasy
That's
gurus
enough.
were talking about, oh, look for doggone Daniel Jones to be running the ball effectively, and then finally throwing it. So I was like, damn, maybe he has like a little, a baby Josh Allen type of season. Until I saw him touch the field, and then I was like, nah, he's shitball. But then I gave him credit because I was like, maybe it's because of the tsunami, right? That's what it is. And then the next game, he still looked like shitball. So I was like, nah, he's trash. I should have traded him to you so you could be upset.
Yeah, I would have been. Well, I would have got rid of him immediately once he showed signs. Anyways, he's terrible. Giants are going to lose the rest of their games. Tommy DeVito's our starting quarterback right now with Matt Barkley. Probably going to get put in eventually. They're likely going to draft a quarterback. Caleb Williams is playing like shit, so I'm sure the Giants will draft him, and we'll have another 10 years of trash.
Let me look right now for the hot board.
Eagles look good. Cowboys are up and down. They played to their opponent. So I don't care if they win the next 5, 6, 7, 8 games. When they get to the playoffs, they'll lose.
Yeah, the Cowboys just aren't that good. They just look good because they beat up on teams
Yeah.
that they should. Like,
Would you
they
want-
do what they're supposed to do. I don't know.
CeeDee Lamb's showing up though. Go.
Would you want Drake May, Ryan, or would you want Caleb Williams? Or would you want Shedeur Sanders?
I don't care.
Ugh.
I mean,
I don't
I'm
want
going to be
anything
honest
to
with
do
you.
with Shedeur Sanders.
What?
I don't want anything to do with him.
Why?
He ain't that good. He ain't it.
He's not it, or his O line is not it, because he's been sacked 45 times this season.
I understand that.
God dang.
That. But I don't know. I don't like him. I don't like Caleb Williams that much anymore either. There's something about him that just turns
I don't
me
like
off.
that he's.
I don't think he has the it factor.
I don't like that he's been losing. Like, they've lost a lot of games recently.
Bro, he's been putting up 40-something points a game, and their defense been giving up just one touchdown more. Like, he can't play defense too.
I know. To be honest with you, I do not care where we. I just need a quarterback. Let them. I just hope they don't fire the head coach, because I feel like that's a little. They didn't draft Daniel Jones. Like, give him a chance to get his own guy. He showed that he could put a team together around people. The problem is, I think we're going to have a high enough pick, and I would love to get a receiver like Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're not
But
getting it.
I don't want Daniel Jones to be our quarterback.
I'd rather y'all get Malik Neighbors.
You know who my top 2 picks are for quarterbacks out of the draft right now?
You're going to say some bullshit.
It's going to be in not any particular order. I'm not putting one at 1 or 1 at 2. I'm just saying these are the top 2 guys. I like the guy from LSU, Jaden McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? McDaniels, right?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Okay, and then Jaden Daniels. Okay, and then Bo Nix from Oregon. That guy has some balls. That guy is going to win you games.
No, the fuck he's not.
Yes, he is.
Do you not remember Bo Nix when he was at Auburn? The one that didn't do shit. He threw 1,000 picks. Everybody said he was a complete bum, and he had to transfer.
Okay, and Joe Burrow was nothing at Ohio State, and then he goes to LSU, lights it up, and then look at him now.
Play. Bo Nix started.
He couldn't beat out Dwayne Haskins.
He didn't play. Bo Nix started.
He couldn't beat him out.
Respect the dead.
Bo Nix started from a freshman 3 years and didn't do shit.
Late bloomer.
A late bloomer. Continue, Ryan.
You know who was a late bloomer? Daniel Jones. Let's not talk about it. I can't. I need a bona fide guy. I would love to just get Caleb Williams, because if we miss that one, it's
everybody else's fault, because you pick who you're supposed to pick. Yeah.
Caleb Williams has all the talent in the world. I just think that he doesn't have the ice in the veins that you need at quarterback sometimes.
That's not true.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's not true. You didn't watch the Utah game. The Utah game, they were down. He came back and led a game-winning drive. But guess what? It was 13 seconds left, and their defense let the other team travel 60-something yards.
Yeah.
Same thing in Notre Dame. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Hey,
I scored a touchdown tied up. I'm sorry.
I'm moving on. Yeah. Commanders made some big trades right at the trade deadline. I don't think we had an episode at that time.
Big trades?
Yeah, the Commanders traded both their
bonehead trades.
Yeah. They took the youth on their defensive line. They're in full tank mode, I think, which they're doing it the opposite way, because they have 4 wins right now. But they're like, yeah, let's get rid of our defensive line youth. So they traded Montez Sweat to the Bears and Chase Young to the 49ers, because why not trade Chase Young opposite Nick Bosa? And
that's gonna be disgusting.
Like that.
Why? Like, my thing is this: why the hell are you trading Montez Sweat, right? And then Bears, why are you giving up that for Montez Sweat when he got 1 year, and you guys suck?
Well, they re-signed him.
I'm pretty sure Chase Young. Yeah, they re-signed Montez Sweat. Right
they gave him 4 years, like $96 million or something like that. Yes,
they signed him right away.
So that's why.
What?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; he's not a bad player, but 90. Are you giving him $23 million a year?
I mean, that
means
like
Kyle's about to get paid.
Yes, pass rushers get crazy money now.
He's about to get paid, because he got better numbers than Montez Sweat.
Yeah, the only thing Sweat's got on him is that he's younger. That's it. I mean, that plays a factor. I mean, it is what it is. You know.
And I can't believe the 49ers, like, how does the 49ers still have cap space, dog?
He's playing under his rookie deal still. But yeah, I don't know how they do it. And all they gave up was a 3rd-round pick for him.
They gave up more. The Bears gave up more for Montez Sweat than, you know what I mean? Them getting there. And now they're talking about,
Go ahead.
They're talking about they're doing all they can to re-sign Chase Young. Yeah. How the 49ers going to do that?
I mean, they're paying a quarterback 12 cents on the dollar right now.
Yes, exactly.
Like he was the last pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, his contract's probably
if he's even making 800,000, I'd be surprised.
No, he's probably making 800,000 now because this is his 3rd year, right? Or this is his 2nd year. Which
second year?
Third,
yeah.
Is it? Oh.
I think he was a rookie last year.
Oh.
He's probably at 760 then. I think that's the 2nd year.
You know,
yeah, he signed a 4-year, $3.7 million. Oh, he 870 right now. 870.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate discount.
Exactly, and that's how they're able to do it. They know they have a window, and they're gonna go all in.
Yep.
Look, the trade steal of the, in my opinion, of the trade deadline was somehow the Giants flipping Leonard Williams for a 2nd and a 5th-round pick. I mean,
that's good value
that's good value for an expiring contract. So the reason why, because people were wondering why did the Giants get a 2nd-round pick for a guy that's aging? I think he's 30 now, right? Or he's close to it.
29, 30, something like that.
Yeah, he's 29 in 148 days.
Yeah, he's 29 years old. He's on the last year of his contract. The Giants weren't re-signing him. The reason they got a 2nd-round pick for him and a 5th is because the Giants were willing to eat his contract for the Seattle Seahawks. So we're eating most of his contract this year, and they trade him over, and they don't have to pay him as much.
Which you guys don't care.
They get him for the year, which we don't care since we know we're tanking. He was like 30 mil against our cap this year, and we did not restructure because they knew they weren't going to. So this was a brilliant move in my opinion. So the Giants get a 2nd-round pick and a 5th. So 2025 5th.
I don't understand how his contract is how the way it is.
Because the previous regime just kicked it down the road to get his cap number down, and then they had to make the decision this year to either extend him to spread that money out again, or just eat it all this year and just let it go. That's why Saquon was that's why they only gave him a certain amount to be able to. They couldn't sign him. Same thing, and then Daniel Jones's contract. So Daniel Jones's contract, he can get cut after next year. Once he's done, because if we cut him this year, it'll be really bad. But if he plays next year and we cut him, we save like 30 mil.
I was looking how they restructured it, right? Because they gave him $63 million, but then when I looked at his contract, right, I saw the 22.5 guaranteed, and then the base salary was like 1.1, 1.12, I'm like, how are they? That doesn't add up to 63. But then I see at the end it says a restructuring bonus. They gave him $11.4 million this year, and then $10.6 million next year, and then he cashed out right now.
Yeah, he made all his money, and Dave Gettleman screwed the Giants with this. Anyways, we'll move on. NFC West. I'm not sure if there's any surprises here. 49ers 5-3. The big surprise there is that they lost their last 3 games. They went 5-0 and they lost their last 3 games. I remember one of the last times we did this podcast, we were talking about the 49ers not losing any games potentially. Like they looked unbeatable.
The Bears were like,
injuries with these teams. Deebo Samuel went down for a little while. Brandon Ayuk missed a game or two. And CMC missed part of a game, but like that, he came back the next week, so he's fine. But they're coming off the bye this week, so they should be fine. Seattle's 5-3, so they're secretly doing well. The Rams are 3-6, and then the Arizona Cardinals are 1-8. Arizona, they're like Kyler Murray. As much as we talk trash about him, just as a person because he's selfish, this team can't win without Kyler. They had the number one pick to get Kyler. That's how bad they were, and then they went to the playoffs his first year, and then they're 1-8 without Kyler. They need Kyler, so he comes back this week. He'll be back. Their entire offense will be back. He'll be back, and James Conner will also be back from IR. And then for the Rams, they have they've just picked up Carson Wentz as their backup quarterback. They're on bye week this week. Stafford has like a fractured finger or something like that, or thumb. He's got some kind of hand injury, so he missed last week. Brett Ripken, is that
Ripken? Yeah.
Yeah, he played last week. They cut him this week. They picked up Carson Wentz. They're on bye, so hopefully Stafford comes back and Carson Wentz will be the backup. NFC North, any surprises here? Lions on top, 6-2. Vikings 5-4. I'm pretty sure they were like 0-4, like to start, right? They were really bad in the beginning.
Yep.
So yeah, they're on a 4-game win streak, so they must have been 1-4. So that's pretty cool. Packers are 3-5, not major. Jordan Love is up and down, and Christian Watson can't stay on the field. All he does is get hurt.
It's because he doesn't know how to catch.
Yeah.
Every time he catches the ball, he jumps up in the air, and then he slams his body to the ground on that hard-ass ground in Green Bay, and he fractures a rib cage or something like that because he's only 150 pounds soaking wet. So
the Lions are getting healthy. They'll get David Montgomery back more than likely this week, and they should be rolling. The Vikings lost Kirk Cousins for the season with a Achilles injury. So that's the big thing this year: Achilles injuries, Achilles. They're gonna have some real data to go behind this. Like, got to switch from turf to grass.
But then next week, Cam Akers does the same thing, right?
Yeah. Cam Akers, his other ACL. It's in his other foot. He's gonna have 2 Achilles. Sorry, yeah. It's in his other foot. 2 years ago, he tore one of them, and then this time it's the other. He's done.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the other foot.
Yeah.
That's just bad luck, dog. You get both of them popped.
Mm-hmm.
That means that's probably something to his rehab.
It's a training thing, right? Yeah,
that's something to his rehab because it might have been when he was coming back, he was putting too much pressure on the other one, and.
But somebody needs to start asking the question why all of a sudden all these Achilles are popping, because it's a lot more now.
Because that's never been the case. Like Achilles popping, like that's the strongest muscle in your body, bro. So for your Achilles to pop, it's something that's going on in the training regimen that's not matching up. And I don't know if it's Randy Moss or no. I think it was Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco was talking on a podcast saying that a lot of these injuries come because these guys are not putting their body through the ringer, right? Like when they were in the younger years, right? You had those 2-a-days, you had all these practices, and your body had to get acclimated to all this pounding. Now, you know, just none of it.
Yeah, you get like one padded practice a week. I mean, so it's like these guys aren't getting tackled and hit. They're not at game speed almost. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, NFC South. We'll move on. NFC South, we got the Saints at 5-4, Falcons 4-5, Bucks 3-5, and Panthers 1-7. Is Bryce Young trash? Question mark.
Too early to tell.
Because he looks like shit.
No, it's too early to tell. That's a bad football team.
Yeah, that's a bad. So
he's making bad throws?
Yeah, but
that's
you're going to do that when you're trying to make plays. You're going to do that. Listen, I'm not a big Bryce Young fan. I tend to lean that he ain't going to be anything. But I will defend the fact that it's his first year. He's on the worst team in the league. I mean, you got to give him his due.
And they have no run game.
No, I mean Miles Sanders just got benched.
They have nothing to alleviate the pain, right? Like their leading rusher has 328 yards. That's bad.
Well, I mean, we will get to the Houston Texans, but they don't have a run game either.
Okay, so let's see.
That's all I'm saying is like
They got some weapons though.
They definitely have weapons, but what I'm saying to that point is
Mingo was drafted in the second round.
Who?
Okay, but that doesn't mean he's a weapon.
I mean, he was drafted to be a weapon. Mingo
for the Panthers.
Yeah, but who said Mingo was good?
Right, he hasn't done anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They evaluate. That's a poor decision by an
that's
organization.
Team evaluation. Yeah,
they got 696 rushing yards on their team.
Who does?
The Texans. I'm not saying it's the best thing, but like they have.
How many do the Panthers have?
Let me look back, and then we look at the receiver play. Like Adam Thielen is your best receiver, bro. Yikes.
Yeah.
They got look. I was not on the Nico Collins train, but Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Noah Brown, Tank Dell. Oh my gosh.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz at the tight end, like them boys ain't no slouch, man.
Yeah.
You give Bryce Young that, I don't think he has great numbers like CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud is just
CJ Stroud's it when it comes to
like
passing.
he
Well, that's what I'm saying. He is making the right throws. And by the way, the Panthers have more rushing yards than
they do, but they have, but the rushing yard is 117 rushing yards per Bryce Young. But whatever.
Stroud's not going to run the ball much.
But to that point, I do agree with you what you're saying, Ryan. I think Bryce Young is making bad throws because he's looking through his progression and nothing's there, so he's just forcing it. But he's late to some throws, and then it's like in the NFL you can't be late.
Well, yeah, that's my concern. He's not. My major concern is with quarterbacks like this, if they don't like it. This is the concern about throwing people out there and like not having that time for adjustment. Some players just go out and get it, like CJ Stroud, they just figure it out and they'll be able to go through the lumps. Trevor Lawrence struggled mightily his first year, and then he's progressed since then. So maybe they figure it out just like with Bryce Young. But my other concern is there's players like Sam Darnold who struggled mightily for a couple of years and never figured it out, and then developed like a tick when it comes to like getting pressured because he's been sacked so much.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about them more so with Frank Reich just because he's a good coach, and I think he can get the right coaching staff in there as far as like the OC and things like that. Granted, it's what's his name first year as a quarterback coach, right? So like he's not a quarterback whisperer, right? So he has to still learn how to coach his young guys through everything. So I just think it comes with time. I wouldn't worry about the Sam Darnold twitch yet, right? Just because they were going to the Jets, and the Jets, their coaching staff was trash. Every coaching staff was trash that they had there. So I wouldn't worry about that.
All right. Well, let's hope Bryce Young figures it out. We'll go over to the AFC East. Dolphins 6-3. They're on bye week this week. Bills 5-4. Jets 4-4, surprisingly. And the Patriots at the bottom of the cellar, 2-7. Patriots, every team in this division lost last week. Like they all suck. And then they all can be good. The Patriots are abysmal. I'll let Brian get on his soapbox, but it sounds like he wants to do a complete fire sale.
Oh yeah, it's time to hit the reset button completely. I want them to sell the team. That's where I'm at. I want the Cravs to sell the team. I want a whole new regime.
Oh, they own Velveeta too.
Yeah, I want like Mars to come in or something. You know, like some other big company. I'm just saying, man, it's pretty bad. No, if at the very least, I want Jonathan Kraft to take over and Robert to step down.
What does the owner do? What does Kraft do?
Robert's never going to move on from Bill, and I think that needs to be talked about. That needs to be considered.
They don't need to just tell Bill to retire.
You think he's just never?
Didn't he just get a contract extension secretly, like in the off season?
Yeah.
Like, and no one reported it.
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
I mean-
actually, he's got 25 more years.
No, he's got like 3 more
No.
years, so it's crazy.
Nice.
Which is fine. I mean, look. If we're just talking about Bill Belichick, the coach, I'm fine with keeping him. They need to bring somebody in as GM. He has proven that he's unable to move on to the way the league is progressing and transitioning. He's still got a slow defense, big linebackers that can't cover anybody. Like he just doesn't want to change. But his coaching is on. He is above and beyond anybody coaching. The fact that he can get this team to actually compete in games is crazy. Because unless you're a Patriots fan, you can't even name players on their defense. And he's got them out there as one of the better defenses still.
Hey, supposedly J.C. Jackson is not traveling with the team
he's
this
not.
week, and he's personal reasons.
No, they told him to stay home.
What's going on with this dude?
He's been
He
making
just
a lot of
collected
mental
his check, bro.
miscues. And they told him that he needs an extended bye. So they have a bye week after this week. So they said they'd reevaluate at that point.
This fucking guy.
I think at the end of the day, yes, Bill Belichick is a good coach, but y'all just not it. And I'm really curious on you telling me before when I said that the Patriots were going to get like 4 wins or something like that, or 3 wins, and you're like, Kenny, you're fucking tripping. Like, what do you say now? Because y'all 2-7. And there's no way you get into that 9 or 10 wins you were preaching.
No, I mean it's gotten to the point where they just can't dig themselves out of the hole they dug for themselves. I mean, look at the way they started the year though. They had a chance to win every single game.
Yeah, but guess what happens with that?
And they didn't do it.
Hey, guess what?
Because they have a lack of talent.
When I was at Temple, we were 2-10, right? And we lost like 5 or 6 games, but like 4 or less points. But guess what our record was? It was still 2-10.
Okay.
It still looked trash. Who cares?
Yeah, but and I'm sure that most of those games were in the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year, you guys were kind of like,
No,
Screw
it was most of those was in the middle of the year. But it doesn't matter because your record still says 2-7 right now. You're not good.
They're toast.
Done.
They're done. Rodgers is talking about coming back sometime in December, supposedly. He's out there throwing every week.
I don't know what he's on, but he might have some like voodoo or some shit going on, bro.
There's no way. So everyone's all getting excited because they see him throwing the ball, slinging the rock like 40 yards. I'm concerned. The reason he got injured was because the Jets' offensive line is garbage. It's really bad. So if he's able to evade pressure when he comes back, that's the big concern. Who knows if he's going to be able to do that?
He was saying on the Pat McAfee show, because hold on, side note. Pat McAfee, I don't know how he gets like Aaron Rodgers, who never talked to the media ever, to be on the show every week. Nick Saban, who doesn't like to be in the media every week. Like, it had these guys just talking like on like a personal level. But he was saying that Aaron Rodgers was saying like, yeah, man, I'm going to take the next phase. So now I just need to start doing more agility. And I'm like, bro, you've been, 2 months out now?
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing agility drills?
Yeah, it's been 10 weeks. I don't understand. And they're 4-4. They're 500. So, like, they're doing what they need to do to just sneak wins by. Zach Wilson's not it. He's just so bad. And they're making it work. They're winning solely on their defense. That's how they won last year.
Thank goodness the rest of the NFL is trash right now that it makes everything close.
Yep.
Have you ever seen go ahead.
Go. Well, I was just moving on to the AFC West. So if you have something else on the
No, I was just talking about NFL in general. Go ahead.
All right. Well, lastly, Bills. You guys have anything on the Bills? I got nothing. They're disappointing people, but they're still 5-4. They still have their stars. They're not super injured. They're gonna eventually probably overtake Miami eventually.
Nah, I doubt it. They need to get the quarterback whisperer back.
Dayball?
Yeah, they got to get somebody.
They ain't getting him. All right, AFC West. Chiefs lost week 1 against the Lions. Since then, they've been great. They're 7-2 right now. They're leading that division.
No, they didn't. They lost against Denver.
Well, yeah, they lost against Denver as well. But I was saying week one, everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to be bad," and then they went and strung a couple together. Denver, any division games give people trouble. So
Denver
like,
bust that ass though.
yeah,
They didn't just win; they busted ass.
exactly. Because everyone also overlooks Denver because they got blown out by Miami 70-20, but their defense is not that bad. In all honesty, like if you play fantasy and you're trying to target the Denver Broncos, a lot of times it ends up being a trap for you because they're never going, like they're not Tua, they're not Tyreek Hill, they're not gonna put up 70 points against that defense every time. So they've actually sneakily been playing a lot better on defense. But this division is middle of the road. I mean, 7-2. The Chargers are not going to win 13 games like Kenny thought they were. They're 4-4 right now. They always make some bonehead play, some bonehead move.
Going on a run, bro.
Yeah, but they're on a 2-game win streak, so they're already on a run. The Raiders have fired Josh McDaniels and their general manager, so I'm sure that they will be signing back with the Patriots pretty soon.
I would take
currently,
Dave Ziegler back.
Really?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Antonio Pierce is currently the interim head coach. He was a middle linebacker for the Giants back in the day. They just beat the Giants. Whoop-de-doo. And
Dude, I can't wait for everybody to like hop on the Raiders now and think that Antonio Pierce is going to suddenly turn them around, kind of like Jeff Saturday with the Colts. It was one game. They played extraordinary for him because they're psyched. They're going to be shit the rest of the year. Watch.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Mark Davis and have them actually hire which surprisingly, because Jim Irsay is another psychopath owner. So I thought like, oh, for sure he's just going to hire Jeff Saturday, who was like coaching a high school team before he went and coached a freaking NFL team. So it would not surprise me if the Raiders decided to go with Antonio Pierce like as a full-time head coach. However, they're probably not going to do that, and they're gonna wait and figure it out next year.
Yeah, because once they get their new GM's going to pick the coach.
Hey, who knows? Freaking Jim Harbaugh might be dealing with all this like Michigan shit. He might be like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here then." But McDaniels will be chilling at home, making his however much money every year for the next 4 more years. I think there was a player that complained about it. Was it Micah Parsons? I think he was talking about head coaching contracts because they're fully guaranteed and they sometimes get fired within a year or so and they can make all their money. That's pretty ridiculous. But who cares? AFC North is the best division, I think, right now in football. Every team is at least 2 games above 500. So we got the Ravens, who are playing great. They're on a 4-game win streak. They're at 7-2. Their defense looks great. Their offense was struggling at first, but they were still winning games, and now they're starting to kind of put it together. The Steelers are shockingly 5-3. They win the most gritty games ever. Mike Tomlin is a great coach and apparently finds a way to get them to win. Deontay Johnson is their number 1 receiver. I don't care what anyone wants to say about George Pickens. No, it's Deontay Johnson. That team plays better when Deontay is playing on the field. Yeah. The Browns are 5-3. Deshaun Watson came back from his shoulder injury. Maybe he's playing. No, he's not playing. Okay, he'll play for a couple snaps, and then he's out there now. So Deshaun Watson played last week. The team's 5-3. The defense is unreal. They are like the Jets on defense. Like they might even be better than the Jets on defense. But they have a quarterback that can actually get some stuff done. So 5-3, they're pretty good. And the Bengals, after starting the season pretty trashy, they've won 4 games straight. Burrow looks healthy. He scared a couple of people last week because he was on the sideline with the thing around his calf, with the heat compress on his calf, but he should be good to go, and he's been playing great the last couple of weeks.
You know the Bengals do this every year.
Yeah.
With Burrow.
Yep.
It's like they start off slow in September, and then after September ends, they're good. They're good to go.
It's because they don't play preseason, and he hasn't played preseason
Yeah,
the last 2 years. So September's their preseason, and they dig themselves a hole, and they're playing great. Who's injured right now? Jamar Chase got a little back injury right now. He's limited in practice. I'm sure he'll be fine, hopefully.
T. Higgins hamstring.
T. Higgins also has a hamstring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Well,
just came back and now he had a hamstring.
they're gonna play though. Like they're just taking a day off from practice.
Yeah.
Because they have 1 day of practice. So
yeah.
It's
Wednesday practice reports I never really pay attention to for the most part. If they miss Thursday or Friday, that's when it's more worrisome because Wednesday is usually that vet day where they don't do as much. And then the AFC South, the Jags are 6-2. That's another team that just like gritly wins games. They're on a 5-game win streak. All they do is win.
No matter
But
what.
they don't. They're not pretty. It's not pretty games, but they win games. So they're 6-2. The Texans sitting right there at 4-4. It is marvelous what a quarterback can do to change your team. So like they were trash last year, and now they have at least 4 wins. CJ Stroud threw 5 touchdowns last week. He has 1 interception on the season. He's great. I think he's awesome, and I love CJ Stroud.
Yeah, he broke the record, the rookie single game record that Andrew Luck had. He do like 480 something last week, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that CJ Stroud has more touchdowns than Kenny Pickett has ever thrown in his 13 games as a starter?
That's not saying much.
I know, but it's just funny. The Colts, they lost Anthony Richardson, but they're still 4-5. They got signed Jonathan Taylor to a big contract. The switch happened this week. Zach Moss has been playing well for the team, but this week Zach Moss was at 27% of snaps, and Jonathan Taylor took over the game, which we all knew was eventually coming. You don't pay a guy $14 million a year to split carries with Zach Moss. No matter what the predicament is, I'm going to eventually get Kenny to trade for Zach Moss so that way he can have a solid handcuff, because I'll touch on that in Ryan's fantasies in a little bit as we get closer to the fantasy football playoffs. Titans are 3-5. Will Levis has finally made it to the field. Will Levis will be their quarterback. He already looks better than, people like Zach Wilson.
Who said something about Will Levis before? I think Brian kind of like came on my neck and said Will Levis is the 3rd on the depth chart.
He was.
Oh, I think we were trolling, but he was.
Yeah.
He was,
he
but
was.
what is he now?
He's number one. He's QB1. Hey, he looked good. And he actually got you something out of Deshaun.
It helps.
DeAndre Hopkins.
It helps when you have one of the better receivers in the league.
He's the ball. He's throwing dots too now.
4 weeks ago, you would have said DeAndre Hopkins is washed.
I never would have said that
because he was playing like trash.
But
he was also giving up on routes. He wasn't really giving it his all. He was doing the little juke thing at the line of scrimmage and then just jogging. Like he knew. And then the minute Will Levis went in there, he was like, "Hold up, this guy's got an arm." And then he was actually running his routes, cutting in and out of breaks. Yeah. But who's the other receiver? Treylon Burks. That guy can't stay healthy either. He's another one. He's out with a concussion or something like that this week.
No comment.
Another guy that just cannot stay on the field. Whatever. So that's the Titans. I'm a little surprised with them this year. I thought they'd be a little better. I thought Tannehill would actually not be that bad, but he is another guy that's going to lose his job due to an injury, and he should be losing his job. All right. You want me to go into fantasies real quick?
Yeah, touch it.
All right. Make your trades, because most leagues, this is the trade deadline. Week 10 is the trade deadline. So start looking. If you're a team that is like really good, you have 8 wins, you have 7 wins, 6 wins, you have a high percentage chance of getting to the playoffs. Start looking at the matchups during the playoffs and try and target some players. For example, I don't know if I have it up right now. The Titans, their playoff schedule is great. So if you have someone like what's his nuts, Derrick Henry as your RB1, and he's kind of just been up and down this year, shockingly. And typically, he's like a 20-point guy every week. He gets you a ton of carries. But the Titans, when they're losing games this year, they've been playing Tajay Spears as their third down guy, and Derrick Henry hasn't been seeing a ton of volume. However, when they're winning games, he's getting over 20 carries. But he has a very favorable matchup during the fantasy playoffs. I think he plays Houston twice in the playoffs, which is a good matchup for the running back position. I was mentioning to Kenny, also get yourself prepared if you're close to the playoffs and you have these these stud running backs. If you have someone like Travis Etienne, go after the backups when the backup is clearly designated. So Travis Etienne would be Tank Bigsby, someone that you know is going to get the bulk of the carries. Now, if it's a team like Dallas where you have Tony Pollard, who's been playing like trash lately, but hopefully he's going to be able to pick things up because he's got some favorable matchups coming up. Who knows who his backup is? Like, is it Deuce Vaughn? Is it a Rico Dowdle? Like, you don't know. So, like, I'm not talking about those. I'm just talking about the teams where, like, who knows what Bijan Robinson is doing in Atlanta, but you know that him and Algier are splitting carries, and if anything happens to Bijan, Algier is gonna just be skyrocket. He could potentially win you a championship. So you want to go after some of these players. Zach Moss has already proven that he is the handcuff to Jonathan Taylor. So if Jonathan Taylor tweaks his ankle or something like that, Zach Moss is going right in there and he's going to get you 20 points a game. And he's already proven that he can do it. So those, you don't want to do it all year round because you want to save your roster spots. However, when you get closer to the fantasy playoffs, you want to be able to protect yourself in case of an injury in week 14, week 15, week 16. So yeah, that's my big thing. And you got to start thinking about these trades now because it's the trade deadline. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. I won't cover anything else on fantasy.
Well, we appreciate Ryan's fantasies. Let's get straight to these BK bets, man. This past couple of weeks has been kind of choppy, man. We've been trying to make some things happen and we get close, but no cigar, right? So this week we're gonna make some things pop. We're gonna start this 10K or 10K 10 bet challenge. I'm gonna say it out loud so you guys can hold me to it. Maybe I could be due diligent in my picks so I don't gamble. So we're going to start that. If you guys try to us on DraftKings, do that. If you're on Action Sports, Choose Other Pro, Action Sports, we'll put our picks there. Anyway, let's get to the Saturday slate for college football. I got Alabama -10. You're going to push it down to -10. We're going to beat the dog shit out of Kentucky. So I'm just putting that out there. Boom. Michigan playing against Penn State. I know people want to think, oh, man, Michigan is distracted. Take Michigan money line against Penn State. We're going to scroll down. I like the over on the Kansas-Texas Tech game. That's another 12 o'clock game. So you could do a 3-teamer for the 12 o'clock game, but also this is on my big money ticket. You could take the over for that game. You could push it down to probably, I would say, 58 points. You can put there 58 points, maybe 59 points. But, yeah, I think that'd be good. Okay, scrolling down a little bit, I do like the Maryland game, but, I don't want you guys to gamble this week. I want to get straight to the money. So Colorado, they got 10.5 against Arizona. I get it. Arizona's been playing well, blah, blah, blah. They're not beating Colorado by 10.5. If you don't like the 10.5, I will push it up to 14 just to be safe. I think if you push it to 14, you could be like -180, which is still good odds. So I'll take the 14 there. James Madison's another sneaky team that a lot of people been like liking to bet on. I wouldn't take them 24 points against UConn. I like the over on that game, but that's just something on the side as I'm scrolling through. Also, I'm going to go down to the Tennessee-Missouri game. Tennessee is playing Missouri at Missouri. I think that game right there is definitely going to be a Tennessee game right there. Just all I got to say. The Utah-Washington game. I think the spread for that is 9.5. But Utah doesn't. I think they're losing their steam right now. So I like Washington State. I like them to 9.5. I think that's a solid bet there. And then scroll down a little bit. I'm going to go to I like the Georgia Ole Miss game. I like Ole Miss 10.5 against Georgia. I think that, Georgia, yes, they have a good team, good defensively, but Ole Miss is ticking right now. And I don't think Georgia offensively can keep up with the firepower, right? So I think as long as Dart holds the ball there, then you don't have any problem to worry about there. And then the Texas TCU game, I like Texas minus 9.5. And yeah, that the Oregon USC game, people can say all they want, but if you want some money on a late night because it's at a 10:30 game, so after we win our ticket at first, I probably put the house on the 10:30 game because at that time we'd probably be up $1,000 at that point on the 10:30 game on the over 73.5. That's what I got.
All right. Just real quick, college. I got Michigan. I like them. You could take the money line or minus 4.5. I think they're gonna beat the shit out of Penn State. Honestly, I don't care about the little boy touchers there in Penn State. We don't ever bet on that.
Jesus.
No.
I like Washington minus 9.5. I agree with Kenny again. I don't think Utah on the road specifically is going to do much. So I like Washington to cover that. I like Oklahoma State minus 2.5. I think they're going to cover that pretty easily, probably by a touchdown or better. And then I like LSU minus 13.5. They have been rolling, and I think that they're going to put up a lot of points in this game. And then I was also considering, if you really like to gamble, you could consider Air Force at midnight or at 11 o'clock. Sorry, they are at Hawaii minus 19. Yes, I know that they just got upset, but that's more reason why they're going to come out and beat the dog shit out of Hawaii.
Man, the upset is an understatement. They got they ass torn apart.
They did, and you know what? I didn't put a bet on them because I had a feeling. I was like, I don't like them this week.
I like it.
Was minus 17. I was like, that's too much.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I like it. Yeah.
So I didn't even put one out. Unfortunately, we didn't do a podcast because I would have told you all that last week. So my apologies.
How convenient.
Yeah.
What
you want to get into
football?
football real quick? NFL?
NFL, yeah.
NFL. These are the bets I like this week. I like the Denver-Buffalo game to go under 47. I like the Jets and Raiders under 36. I like the 49ers. You could take the money line or minus 3. They will cover. I like the Bengals minus 6.5 or money line. And I like Arizona money line. And before Kenny gets on me about taking 2 unders, I would like to just remind everybody the unders are 22-7 in primetime games this year. They are 10-1 on Monday Night Football. It's the numbers, Kenny. It's the numbers.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because there's a couple games that's kind of like it's close. If you buy points, it hits to over, but whatever. I like for this week coming up. So I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings, right, to win the game, but I like the over in that game. I would buy it down to 39. I'll kind of like have a Joshua Dobbs thing. Like he finds a way to just score points and keep it interesting. I just personally think the Vikings defense sucks, so I think the Saints might put some points up there. But I like the over on that game. I like Pittsburgh money line against the Packers. I like 49ers money line against Jacksonville. The Ravens Browns game, the over to me is super low at 38. Yes, I understand the defenses are playing good, but I like the over on that game, and then I like the Chargers money line against the Lions.
That's gonna be a 15-10 game.
I like the Chargers money line against the Lions. I think that the Lions are getting too much credit. So mine is a little tricky. I like to do a little bit of tricky bets on NFL just because it never goes exactly what you're playing. So yeah, that's what I got. Anything else, guys?
Nope, that's it.
Man, well, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. I know we went a little bit over this time, but we've been gone for a week, so we just kind of give you a little extra sauce on top of, on the burger. So, Brian, thank you for showing up again. Kenny, thank you for making sure your phone or whatever your device is working now. Make sure you can be better next week. I will. And then, Ryan, thank you for being consistent. Thank you for just showing up, being the best you, right? Technical difficulties don't happen. editing always happens, right? Show up, show out. That's the motto that Ryan's lived by, and I hope that me and Brian can be like you one day. So
When we
anyway,
grow up.
guys, what'd you say, Brian?
When we grow up.
When we grow up.
Yeah.
When we grow up. So anyway, guys, we appreciate the love and support. Like, subscribe, keep following. Send to all your friends on DraftKings. If you can get on there, hop in there. Same thing on Action Sports. Make sure you listen to Ryan, what he's saying with Ryan Fantasies. Make sure you guys put those trades in so you can try to win these tournaments, because I know I'm going to win mine or for my fantasy bracket or whatever. So, yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys next week. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.